Oh, I was going to write chronic pain. I could edit something. What can I do? Edit stream info. What have I got for tags? Anti dis mental thera human English. I feel I'm going to regret this, but I'm going to turn down this space heater a little bit. I imagine a lot of people have chronic pain. It's vague enough, right? I'm in a situation where I've been in pain nonstop for the last sort of good day I remember might have been November, and it's now it's nearing the end of January. If you see me, no matter how bad I'm presenting, this is better than when you don't see me. When I can't even imagine talking. the way it's been for the past few days, there's like no position that I can stretch or bend myself into that feels comfortable. There is no moment of comfort or relief. So, in that, with that being the case, I instead of seeking comfort, I seek distraction, which could be cooking food or moving around, looking at things, talking to people. Reading or listening or watching some sort of entertainment. Learning. Or, hurting myself in some other place that might cause distraction. Taking drugs or alcohol. I've got plenty of recorded examples of marijuana lifting my mood, changing my mood focus, changing my thoughts from sort of uptight to loose. I've had many experiences of becoming creative when I've ingested or inhaled or somehow taken in some THC, I guess. I'm not a student of cannabis. I just do things to see what might help. And even further going back in my life is to use alcohol to alter my state of mind. It was something I often used to pass out and to forget about things I didn't want to think about. Upsetting thoughts. I don't know how effective alcohol can be at forgetting about physical pain. Especially because alcohol causes physical discomfort and often leads to accidents and just alcohol causes pain. But I did take suppose, like a glass full of alcohol. I wouldn't say I feel relaxed. Just like in recent days, I have been trying some of the THC or whatever that I have lying around that goes in the mouth and really didn't have any positive results to taking them. The only thing I felt was dry mouth and a little bit of anxiety. Or maybe a lot of anxiety. But not... There have definitely been times in the past when I felt a change of my mental state, a boost of creativity and happiness when I've taken the same stuff that I took yesterday and got nothing positive out of. The drugs that I received from the doctor sometimes help and sometimes don't help. The purpose of what I share is not about me. I don't know that I'm going to have a worthwhile path forward in my life. What matters to me, if anyone, sees this, is there's a couple of things I care about deeply. I represent myself. That makes sense to me. And I could talk about art. I mean, there's always plenty of things to talk about. This art and jobs that I've had and anyway, there's always a lot of... I mean, you look at any person's life and it doesn't come down to just two things, life is complicated, so I could go on, and sometimes I do. But in terms of just for the sake of limited time, limited focus, limited attention. I just choose two. And the two things that I would like to stand for are that we have in order to so I'm trying to, like I say, there's lots of things, they're all complicated. So in an attempt to simplify, I don't know, some of the ways to think about it are very dramatic. Like if I'm offering up my life, we're just, if a human being looks at this and cares, these are the two things that I want. This is what I want. Not for me. It would help me, but I kind of give up on me. But what I want is healthcare as a human right. I want the complete dismantling of the corrupt healthcare system that exists. It might be this, oh, but there's good doctors and there's good. Yeah, of course. There's good people everywhere doing good and bad things. Like anyone else, I've known doctors who can't stand all of the stuff that they have to do for insurance. Sometimes, to have a principle is not the same as writing the bill, writing the law and I'm simply saying that as a principle, all people get health care, and that includes dental, and that includes people on the street, and that includes mental health, and that, that would be worth lighting burn half of my funeral pyre for that. And yes, of course, it would help me. I just don't think it's gonna happen. So I just what in the heck am I saying? I just feel really bleak. I've rarely, if ever, felt this bleak before. I'm trying to pass on what, in a way, is a final message of my message. The core message of me in this state. So one is to make medicine, health care, product, a commodity, something to be invested in. I don't know. I think that would improve oh my gosh, just hundreds of millions of lives. Physically, mentally, financially, the weight lifted to be inspired to do beautiful things. I always have ideas for the people. You wipe away some industries, and I've got ideas for what people can do, for sure. And the number two thing that I care so much about is to take part in, to be part of a society that is built around fundamental respect for individuals. So many things flow from this, but speaking as my speaking as myself, speaking to address my suffering, I was gonna start by emphasizing gay people, queer people, or LGBTQ and more people. But the reason, I suppose, for people who don't like it, the reason more things keep getting added to the letters is that there's no end to respect once you practice respect. Once you incorporate respect for individuals to live as they are, then you are allowing for, multiple gender expressions, just like socializing, the way people look, dress, their affect, their style, their I mean, certainly like skin color, religion, hygiene preferences. Um, the more specific I get, it's not like belittling it. It's like everything. And I feel like it's okay to acknowledge that it's a challenge. It can be a challenge to not laugh at somebody who looks weird or funny to you. It can be a challenge, you know. I mean, so many movies, the super good looking guy is good, and the weird, scarred, foreign, there's, the bad guy has got some. I mean, we do this. We reinforce really simple prejudices for fun. My If I were designing a solution, my way forward is not exactly censorship, or a culture that's like forces people to, I don't know, like, I guess, virtue signal, look like they feel a certain way but they don't. I feel like all of our conversations, I mean, we're struggling to deal with the way things are, so we talk about Oscars So White, or just Hollywood movies. I can't believe I just saw a clip from a conservative comedy. I mean, something conservatives think's funny, where like the joke is like, a white man can't even get hired in Hollywood anymore, and all the jobs nowadays, you have to be and then they have to have multiple things, and they just say these like offensive, it's just like an Eskimo lesbian or whatever, they just trot out. I mean, because their whole frame is disrespect, is grounded in disrespect, and what matters is them. Receiving all the unquestioned respect, which, it's like, well, have you tried earning it? But I mean, meanwhile, I've been bedridden most of this year, and I've watched just so much, and like, it's so difficult for me to find. I mean, I have limited streaming. My streaming are free. Yeah, my streaming services are free, so I have limited choice. But, I don't know where the conservative backlash, where the jokes come from, that only, I don't know, that white, straight, cis, white men aren't wanted because that seems to be their joke. And when I thumb through what there is for me to watch, do I even need to state the obvious? Like, okay, I'm gonna use numbers. These aren't statistically accurate. This is just what it feels like, but I'll say it. I was about to say 9 out of 10 movies are led by men. Honestly, that doesn't seem high enough. It feels more like 49 out of 50. But, and then if there's two leads, it's two guys and they're buddies and their relationship is important. And then, if there's a woman, well, she's hot and she's the love interest of one of them. Or she's a shrew and she is just no fun. She's the, like mean mom librarian. I can't even, I love librarians. But just some petty authority over the cool lead guy character who's done nothing to deserve his status other than be who he is and look good, and maybe he's related to somebody rich. These are the movies, right? Are these the movies or are these real life? So I see. Oh, okay. So all of that bores me and I can still seek out and find things to watch, but it's just in no way has there been any kind of sea change in Hollywood movies that I can see. It's just so straight, white, male dominated. On top of that, my choices when it comes to plots, I see murder, so much violence, murders, solving murders, these action adventures that end in huge fights and I'm left to conclude that human beings, that's what's interesting. I'm left to conclude that human beings are just very interested in conflict, perhaps murder, violence. Maybe they like to see the bad guy get caught. But I still think, even when it's one of those kind of police procedural type movies, it's glorifying cops. It's giving the impression that cops work really hard to solve individual cases in very sort of unrealistic ways that, are usually solved within 45 minutes and almost always end with the bad guy being like, you got me, and then a full confession. it's just like there are so many grown-up versions of Scooby-Doo that it's really ridiculous. And what what bothers me about all that is I just think, we're not really improving as a human society. We're we have this amazing media. We have many different media formats that we can use to teach and entertain and excite. And I just feel it's mostly a waste. But I was starting to say, so what's my idea of, well, what would I do about it? Well, I think the way to, the way forward for change, if I'm writing a alternate universe world that starts out the way things are now, I don't feel good. Hold on. I'm not eating very well. I had salmon and rice yesterday, and that was the best I've eaten in a long time. But, I mean, I kind of only have fish and rice right now, and that gets kind of boring. I don't feel well. I was getting near the end. I don't. I don't believe there's a path. I don't believe the path forward involves getting. What am I trying to say? I don't want to have campaigns against the pre-existing structures. I don't want to tell, the groups that are making profits on the stuff that they, the very unoriginal, unimaginative stuff that they've been putting out into the world for decades. I don't want to try to push them around or change them. Or at least not that way, not through shame campaigns or through like congressional hearings and we've got to do something about this, content that you're putting out. No. The thing that matters to me is who's being funded, who controls how things are made. And I would I mean, I always have room in my life for, from, as in my fantasy government, there's always room for more taxes on the on the most rich. And I think that I just think the way forward is to put more opportunities in the hands of women and queer people, trans people, minorities. So yeah, I guess I would create some sort of state cinema. I don't know. I mean, one thing that would happen is a lot of big media companies, if I ruled government, would be broken up because that's just ridiculous. So then there would be more room for more executives, more. I don't know. I mean, because, I mean, at my heart, I'm anti capitalist. So the transition from a capitalist age to a non capitalist age is what my dream book will focus on. One of the ideas that I like is that people can have a choice. So it's like, if you like the way things are now, you can continue working in this system. You know, you have some sort of explanation of what the laws are now if you don't understand them, which is like tax rates and you know, if you're going to do that, it would be good to have a roadmap that says like this is what's expected. And then I would have a completely second system overlapping the one that exists that says, hey, if you don't like that system, we've got this other one that you can sign up for. The potential financial highs are not as high, and the lows are not as low. You can just sign up right now to be in a system with a safety net, and it's, you know, it's got government participation in terms of funding, and I mean, it would just be like creating like a state film board alongside Hollywood. But in every industry, it's like you can keep doing what you're doing, or you can sign up to take a part in this other thing. And this, you know, if you make above a certain amount, you're going to pay like most of your income into back into the system if you know, are just super successful. I like the idea because it takes out the argument that one person has to be right and the other person has to be wrong. And you could just say, okay, you know, you have your system, you like it so much. There are a lot of people who live in this nation who feel the complete opposite from you. So we're going to set up an additional system side by side there'd be different rules, different cards, but like the things that exist out there, you know, like a hospital or whatever. Well, you can just stay in your whatever system that you've got. It's fun. It's fiction. I don't think I said it very well. I gotta go. I don't feel well.